All right, guys, what do we expect from Steph Curry tonight? He had a phenomenal fourth quarter of the last game. It wasn't a tremendous whole game, but he had a great way to end game two. What are you looking for from Steph Curry tonight?
I want to see if Steph's game in these playoffs is transferable from venue to venue. Because at home, he's giving you 30 a game, 45% from three in these playoffs. And on the road, he's giving you 20 a game and 35% from three. We know he's not a big difference maker defensively. So I think it's fair to say in these playoffs, as great as the Warriors have been, Steph Curry on the road has been a little disappointing. Now, Steph Curry at home is on his way to a Finals MVP, the only thing missing from his resume. So I want to see if his game transfers from venue to venue, and I want to see if Steph Curry is actively trying to build off of the fourth quarter he had, and by that I mean hunting his shots early, or if it's more Warriors offense, ball movement, good shot, great shot, or if Steph wants to see, do I still have the hot hand from 72 hours ago?
I think the Warriors initially, they know how important that first quarter is. Nick, you mentioned in the segment before how bad Golden State's been in this building, in particular in that first quarter. So for me, I look for Kevin Durant. I look for him and Steph to be more aggressive. But I'm looking for Durant because it's easier for Durant to get his shot. Like, if they want to start the series, I mean, they want to start, in Cleveland with some good shots, it's easy. You move the ball, all right? You go for the switches. Kevin Durant gets the matchup that he wants, and you get easy shots that way. I don't want them to play at a pace too fast because on the road, I believe Cleveland, they'll try to get up and down, something they can't do at Golden State. But at home, they will play. They will play with some aggressive defense, and they'll try to get up and down. I want
try to turn Golden State over in order to get up.
And I expect Golden State to try to survive the first quarter, get into their half-court offense, get KD matched up on several of the Cavs wherever he wants the ball, and for him to go to work on them. So I know Steph. The logic says game number 2, man, he explodes 5 threes in the fourth. He's going to try to take that over, but I look at it a different way. KD, he knew he wasn't great in game number 1, shot a lot of bad shots, came back very, very surgical-like performance.
KD played almost a perfect basketball game in game 2.
Yes.
I don't want it to be overlooked. KD was good, not great, but good defensively, and offensively, he did everything you ask a guy to do. 26 points on 14 shots, an effective field goal percentage of 78%. Which is, if you don't care about effective field goal percentage, take my word for it. That is an insane number. Added 7 assists, 9 rebounds. KD did everything you could ask someone to do, and he was the reason they had the 10-point lead going into the fourth, which then allowed Steph to explode in the fourth.
So is it more important for KD to start fast, start strong, and have a steady game, rather than hope that Steph Curry's got the hot hand from outside and can just keep going there over and over again?
Jenna, this is the problem. At any time, your house can catch fire. With the collection of shooters they have, that is the mystery to Golden State. Well, what if they start slow? Well, if they start slow, you know what? Clay and Draymond can chip in and get them through the first quarter. But we saw in game number 2, classic Warriors fashion, Steph playing bad basketball. It finishes with an NBA record 9 threes, 5 of them in the fourth. So KD can go off in a quarter. We have seen Clay, playoff Clay, game 6 Clay.
Right.
I mean, go for 30, 25 in a quarter. So that's part of their greatness is, yes, they can start sluggish. They're a team that can afford to do that. The Cavs don't have that luxury, and most other NBA teams don't have the luxury.
But what we also know about this Warriors team is this, that they are two different teams in games where Steph's their best guy and in games where anyone else is their best guy. In this season, when Steph leads them in scoring, they win 90% of their games. In every other game, the games where Steph doesn't lead them in scoring, they win less than 70% of their games. Now, 68% Games 1 is great for any team except for this team. So it's not like they're bad when Steph doesn't lead them in scoring. But when he does, they're almost unbeatable. But for Steph, here's the thing, and this is where I wonder how much this means to him. I wonder how much he is thinking about this Finals MVP, because it's the only thing missing from his resume. It is the only... What is the difference between Kevin Garnett and Dirk Nowitzki? They both were the best player on a championship team. They both were regular season MVP. They were both one of the best power forwards of their era.
Can I guess?
What?
Finals MVP.
Dirk was a Finals MVP. KG wasn't. What's the difference between David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon? They both won 2 titles. They both won a regular season MVP. They were both 2 of the best centers of their era.
Can I guess? Finals MVP.
Finals MVP.
This is such an easy
Why
guess.
is Paul, why when we see Paul Pierce and Chauncey Billups on television before the game, do they say NBA champion? Do they say future or Hall of Fame? No, what do they say? Finals MVP from 2004. Finals MVP from 2008. Like, the Finals MVP thing is the one thing missing from Steph's resume.
Do you think he thinks about that when he takes the court? You think that fuels him to shoot more, get out quicker, start sooner? I mean, how much is he thinking about that?
And you have to be honest with fans. It's hard for things like that not to enter your mind. But the thing about it is, if Steph, how does Golden State win game number 3? They need Steph to play well. That would lead to being MVP. So whatever game plan that they would have as an organization, as Steve Kerr, it's based on Steph being real good. Now, Steph's got 2 games in his back pocket where the other Warriors haven't stood out MVP-wise. So now it's game number 3. The Warriors want to sweep this. So game number 3 becomes important, and Kevin Durant has the ability, too, to get into the conversation, too. So I believe there's always that little competition against yourself. There's always that competition when you're playing against great players. And the reality is, if they do go up 3-0, there is going to be a Warriors MVP potentially after game number 4.
Well, that's the other thing is, like, yes, Durant could get in this conversation, but the way to prevent LeBron from getting into this conversation, even if the Warriors win it, is to win this thing in 4 or 5. If this thing goes 6, certainly if it goes 7, even if the Warriors win it, then all of a sudden LeBron will start to get back into the conversation. And, like, that would be, if I'm Steph Curry, a bitter pill to swallow. So, wait, we win the title in 2015. Yeah. I'm our best player. Iggy gets it.
That would be tough for you mentioned Steph, but follow that up with KD. KD swore, man, I took the game 3. Bang, I took the world's best player.
Right.
Oh, well, we played him the next year.
We beat him anyway, and the other guy still won it. So, like, this is for him. I know it's a team game, but I do think these guys care about the individual accolades, and they care about their place in history. And Steph's place in history is forever cemented. If he's a 3-time champion, 2-time regular season MVP, and 1-time finals MVP, that checks every single box.
And that's what happened to KD. That was his validation last year.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.